hard pack of Pietramarata, we move to the hard sand of the Zelterzerk circuit here in Kegums, a short drive southeast of Riga. In MX2, Tom Vialle has enjoyed 3 consecutive visits to the top of the box and has now taken the red plate from Jago Geerts. The Belgian needs to bounce back on his favoured surface, while Michael Harrup continues to threaten the top spots, with a first win in this class surely just around the corner. The first quarter of the 2022 FIM Motocross World Championship is already in the books. Now it's time to get down and dirty again at the MXGP of Latvia.
Welcome to the FIM Motocross World Championship Round 6. We're at the MXGP of Latvia at the Zelterzerk circuit in Kegums. And after a 1-week break, MXGP returns for this 6th round. And the MXGP of Latvia, where last year's winners were Maxime Renault in MX2 and Tim Geiser in MXGP. Both of those obviously will be on the books a little bit later on in the Premier class. But in the MX2 category, Tom Vialle arrives as the new championship leader after overturning a 16-point deficit to lead his main rival, Jago Geerts, by 14 points. Mikkel Harp sits 3rd after the Dane scored his 3rd consecutive podium last time out in Trentino. Simon Langenfelder and Kai de Wolf round out the top 5. Yesterday, in the qualifying session, we had a dry track. It's been raining overnight and continued ever since. So this racetrack, just under 1,800 metres long, with a 180-degree first turn, might just prove a little bit of a different challenge for the riders today. It's not heavy, but the rain is continuing to fall. It's easing off in dribs and drabs here and there. But the start is going to be crucial. Visibility, even more so. Don't be surprised if you see riders running out of tear-offs or roll-offs or coming in to even use the goggle lane late on in the race. But those who are here and braving the conditions, we welcome your presence. But it has continued to fall like this ever since we got here first thing this morning. The rain started early hours of this morning. But before we go anywhere, let's take a look at the track in more detail, though, shall we? This weekend, it's Henry Jacobi from JM Honda Racing that take us for a lap around the circuit here at the Zelterzerk. About 95 metres to turn 1. There's that 180-degree right over the Fox Holeshot line. And just a reminder, that right-hand turn, people off the back brake, of course, because they will be trailing that right leg. Turn 2, turn 3 takes us uphill, and then slightly dropping downhill to the liquid molly jump, more of a hip jump if you like. Then we have this very quick left-hander higher to the left than the right. Monster Energy finish line jump here. But as we just have started the lap, we've still got a way to go to complete the whole tour here. Through that right-hand turn and then tightening up here before the track opens up again over the next jump and through the long sweeping left. There's a slight dragon's back on this part of the track, not as severe as it has been over the years. Double, single, as we go to the highest point of the racetrack. And you can see how there's a choice of 2 lines before we drop away over that double. Those ruts will be getting deeper and deeper and more edgy as we cut to this part of the circuit as the race goes on. 2 tabletops down the back straight. This one shorter than the second one, the Monster Energy one here. And then we've got a double single or a single double. Depends which way you choose to negotiate that. Outside, inside combination, you always get passes there right to the face of the jump. The FC Moto one there. And then as we go left, again, you need that all-important drive through the wave section. A little bit lower than previous years. No big double or triple midway through. 7 waves in total. And you've got the high line or the low line around the outside before you hit the city jump. Get on the brakes. There's some braking bumps here. Again, you can use the outside, cut to the inside. Higher on the left here than the right. More braking bumps will develop through the course of the race into that left. Over the single, again lower on the inside. But then to counter that, we've got a slight crest in the next turn. Dig the wheels in deep, head up over the Monster Energy Mountain. And then with just 2 corners to go, we have this 90-degree right, a short straight, little double jump, 90-degree left, and then right through the chicane, back on the start straight for another lap of the Zelta Zergs. So that was our GoPro track preview with Henry Jacobi. A few moments ago, though, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid, and she managed to catch up with a new rider to the Star and Factory Husqvarna team, Jeremy Sido, but before that, Isaac Gifting, Hitachi KTM, fueled by Milwaukee.
So we are blessed with some glorious weather here in Kegums, Latvia, but the show must go on. That's motocross. So let's crack on with a couple of the interviews before the first MX2 race of the day. The first being Hitachi KTM, fueled by Milwaukee rider Isaac Gifting. Isaac, let's talk about qualifying. Yesterday, you passed Vialle for second, finished in P2. That's a really good showing for you and really good for the confidence boost ahead of today.
Yeah, it was a very positive day for me. I felt already from the morning stuff was clicking on the bike, and in the race I just had a decent start, got myself up to 4th and 3rd quite quickly, and then I just railed them in and I made the pass eventually. It's great for me. Big confidence boost. I have a good gate pick for today. It's raining. I think it will be quite messy today. Starts will be the key. Just be up there in the front the first 10 minutes, and then I think you'll finish there.
Exactly. And just give us an update on the collarbone. We know after Argentina you had it plated. How's it feeling at the moment?
It's all right. I also started to ride a little bit in the week now.
Right.
Because in the beginning I was just doing race after race and then trying to rest. So it's getting better. It's not 100%. I can still feel it, and I do a lot of physio and a lot of stuff to make it work. But normally when I ride, it's all right.
Okay, well, have a good one. Thanks, Isaac.
Thank you.
Now, I'd really like to speak to Jeremy Sido because he's now wildcarding for Nestan Husqvarna MX2 team. Jeremy, how did this opportunity come about? It's this fantastic ride for you.
Yeah, for sure, it's fantastic. After Portugal, I got in touch with Rasmus, the team manager of Nestan MX, and then it got more serious from week to week. Then I tested the bike, and everyone was happy, so we got the fill-in ride for me.
And yesterday, I mean, things do seem to be falling into place quite quickly. P5 in qualifying, best result so far this year. Tell us about that race, and clearly you have a good feeling on the bike already. Yeah,
I had also directly from the first day on a great feeling on the bike. Yesterday I had a really good start. I had only 13 gate pick, almost Holeshot, and then just rode a consistent race, finished 5th, and that gives me a really good gate pick for today for the races.
Enjoy your first GP with the team.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Okay, good luck to all the guys. It's time for MX2 Race 1.
Well, as the riders prepare to take their positions behind the gate, here's how they look in the championship after 5 rounds. Tom Vialle, the new championship leader, with the red plate on the front of that Red Bull KTM. He is now 14 points clear of Jago Geerts. Mikkel Horup, 25 points further back in 3rd. And then we've got Simon Langenfelder and Kaiser Wolf rounding out the top 5. Guadagnini, Horgmo, Adamo, Rubini and Gifting ran out the top 10. Well, as you can see, slightly different weather conditions today to what we had yesterday if you joined us for the qualifying race. Well, if you did miss the action yesterday, let's take a look at what happened, shall we? The gate dropped in the MX2 qualifying race. A dry track, hard underneath, a little bit loose on top. On board here as the riders tipped in, Harup with the GoPro. But it was Jago Geerts who led the way on the exit of that first turn. Thibaut Beneston there, but not for much longer, because charging down the inside was Tim Edberg, who was second to the back in the blink of an eye. Good start for Vialle. He moved past Jeremy Sido on the first lap to move into that second place. Sido was 3rd, under attack from Gifting, who then found his way past the German to move into third on lap 2. And then there was a right old battle going on here between Simon Langenfelder in red, and then the first of the two Kawasaki's, Kevin Horgmo, and then the 11 of Mikkel Harup. Horgmo eventually did nudge his way past the German to move into 5th place, and that also allowed Harup to gain ground on the German as he then followed through into 6th position. Vialle was comfortable in 2nd though, but with a couple of laps remaining, Isaac Gifting had closed in, tried to go around the outside, denied at the first attempt by the championship leader. But then he did get the opportunity again. This time he was on the right line at the right time, snuck up the inside of Vialle, took over that 2nd place. Thibaut Beneston, who'd got himself up to 9th, fell back down to 12th. He eventually came home in 11th. That was Harup crashing out of 5th place with about 2 laps to go. He will now go to the line in 19th. Just winded himself in that crash. He is okay today. That did not look okay though there, did it, from that angle? But out on front, all by himself, the number 93 Montreal Yamaha, Jago Geerts, crossed the line for his 4th qualifying race win of the season. And he goes to line on pole. So here's how the riders line up then ahead of race 1 and later on today, race 2. Jago Geerts on pole for the 4th time this year. Isaac Gifting with his best qualifying of the campaign in 2nd. Tom Vialle 3rd, Kevin Horgmo 4th, and also rounding out the top 5 with his best qualifying in MX2, Jeremy Sido on that new Husqvarna machine. Simon Langenfelder, the teammate with Mattia Guadagnini, they line up next to each other in 6th and 7th. Kai de Wolf 8th. Jorgen Matthias Salvico, good ride for him, coming home in 9th, and then Bastien Baudin back from injury in 10th. Then we've got Beneston, Adalmo, McClellan, wildcarding this weekend. Rick Elsinger likewise. Conrad Muse and Andrea Bonacorsi, also from EMX 250. Hakan Fredriksson, Glenn Mayer, Mikkel Harup, not where he wants to be, so he's going to have to pull something special out of the bag from there. And then Stefan Rubini. Rubini on the ship-to-cycle Honda SR Motor Blues machine, coming home in 20th place. 34 riders will go to the line. The rider who will go to the line last, though, for Diga Procross KTM, Liam Everts, he was running in 13th, but on lap 3 had a problem with the bike, so he will be hoping. And I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if, as we look down the gate now, he'll be over on the left-hand side, far gate possibly. He'll be looking to cut across the back, maybe. Jago Geerts starts on pole for the 4th time this year then. He's also got 14 points to make up to the new championship leader, Tom Vialle. There is the new red plate holder. The Red Bull KTM rider has won the last 3 Grand Prix, Argentina, Patagonia and Trentino. And he's taken command of this championship after Geerts took a 3rd and did not score in race 2 in Trentino. Isaac Gifting, fantastic qualifying for him on Saturday. His best of the season so far when he found his way by Tom Vialle with 2 laps to go on that Hitachi KTM fueled by Milwaukee. Kevin Horgmo also put in a good showing. Started in 6th, picked off Langenfelder, and then late on in the race, Jeremy Sido to get 4th. There's Harup taking his position just left of the box. Good qualifying on his debut ride for Nestan yesterday. Jeremy Sido coming home in 5th place. That's a gate pick over on the right-hand side, exactly where you want to be. 5:16, Langenfelder, the lead Red Bull Gas rider, edging out his teammate Mattia Guadagnini. But he did run up as high as 5th. And Kai de Wolf, not the best qualifying for him, but he was actually up the inside there as we look at Guadagnini. But he started in around about 19th place, did Kai de Wolf. Having got nudged, I think, going into turn 3, the number 74. He eventually carved his way back to 8th, so he will at least have some knowledge as to where to overtake, where those passing lines are, which is quite crucial. With the weather conditions like this, tear-offs on top of roll-offs, just for those opening few corners and maybe the first lap or 2. The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the first time today. 30 minutes plus 2. Who will it be that grabs that Fox Holeshot here, round 6? The first race today in MX2. All eyes will be to the inside. Over on the left as we look down the gate. Oh, and Horgmo gets a perfect jump. Just saw the Kawasaki move, but he gets squeezed. Oh, we've got riders cartwheeling down the straight. Was that Hakan Fredriksson? No, because Fredriksson is round the back. But Langenfelder with the Fox Holeshot for the 4th time this year. Geerts there in 2nd position, or is it Beneston? It's Geerts. In fact, it's Langenfelder leads the way. Geerts 2nd, Vialle 3rd, Horgmo is in 4th. It was Peter Pollock who crashed down the start straight. A bit of fisticuffs already between the 2 championship leaders. Jago Geerts, he knows he needs to break 3 on this early lap. He felt good yesterday, he said in the qualifying race, post-race interview. But we all know that Vialle can show up a different animal on race day. Already struggling for visibility, look, off the rear end of the Yamaha ahead of him. And that is going to be the key, isn't it? There's De Wolf around the outside. He's in around about 12th place at the moment. But it's Langenfelder who leads. Geerts 2nd, Vialle 3rd in orange. Horgmo in green in 4th. Then Beneston, Guyon, Elzinger, Salviku, Gifting. De Wolf up to 10th. Adalmo down to 11th. Then we've got Sido 12, Panzer 13. See how the rain has been falling over the last hour between races. And the water just starting to disperse under the wheels of these bikes on this opening lap here. Another rider who's buried down the pack, possibly a victim of that first turn crash, Mikkel Harup, and maybe even Camden McClellan, because they're 32nd and 33rd at the moment. But Langenfelder, the guinea pig on this opening lap. Yes, they would have had a sighting lap prior to the start of the race. Completely different conditions to what they had in qualifying, and also for their free practice, their warm-up session this morning. There's Beneston and the 261. Talviku, a great start for him in 6th place. Oh, Vialle! Vialle hits a wicked kick up, bottom of the hill, came round left, right. Oh, and who's that down as well? Talviku. Great start for the Estonian, and he's down as well on the first lap, possibly trying to avoid Vialle. So Vialle out of 3rd. Nice breathing space for Simon Langenfelder, who looked uncomfortable yesterday in 5th. And here's De Wolf as well, so he's been down as well. He was in 12th place, 9th place he got up to. So drama on the opening lap with some of the riders inside the top 5. The ground was very hard yesterday. The rain overnight has just made that worse. We're still going to have a very slick race here, what the riders have to deal with. Langenfelder, 1.7 seconds clear, already still wiping that goggle of his. And De Wolf picking himself up from 9th to 23rd. Then that's how expensive that was for the Husqvarna rider. We'll keep an eye on his progress. But it's Langenfelder who leads. Geerts 2nd, Horgmo 3rd, Beneston, Elzinger, Vialle recovers for 6th after his fall on the first lap. But looking comfortable and relaxed at the moment. The 516 Red Bull Gas of Simon Langenfelder has got the Monster Energy Yamaha of Geerts behind him in 2nd. Not taking any chances, though. You don't need to at this early stage of the race. It's still going to be very greasy and very tricky. And there's Harup. So Harup, he obviously got caught in that first turn crash. A 4th consecutive podium has gone begging. And there's Camden McClellan as well. Where's he running to? All of a sudden, the gap down to less than a second between Langenfelder and Geerts. Those square edge bumps are hard, and with this moisture on top, very, very slick. Geerts, obviously, 2nd in the championship, 2nd in the race, needs to find his way past Langenfelder. You've got 2 options: sit back and save your goggles, or try and go for broke. Avoid the roost as and where you can, but get to the front and just preserve them even longer. Lap time last time around, 2:08.8 was the fastest lap of the race. The only rider even below 2:10. Langenfelder last time around is a 2:11.2 this time around, 2:10.1 for Geerts. 6/10 in it as they hit the line at the end of that second lap. Horgmo 1.3 further back as the Yamaha gets good drive on the gas rider ahead of him. That Dragon's back though, offering up different options as they go through that left-hander. Beniston 4, Elzinga 5, Vialle still 6. He's about 7.5 seconds adrift of the leaders at the moment. Sido 8, Adamo 9, Guadagnini 10. Stauffer has found his way past Tim Edberg and Jan Panzer. Brumman and Everts have found their way past Muse. Fredriksson is in 17th. The Wolf back up to 18th now then. And Karsmakers 19 ahead of the Latvian Maris Pumpers. Gifting, another rider. 21st place for Gifting. I think Harrop may have gone back out. Has he or not? Waiting for him to hit the strike. We saw him come in, but just wondering whether he's gone back out again. So Langenfelder continues to lead MX2 race 1. Kevin Horgmo looking menacing there in the background as well. Langenfelder has led 26 laps coming into this weekend, so make that 28, 29 by the time this one is done. But Vialle still trying to find his way past Rick Elzinga, the European 250, the EMX 250 championship leader on that Hutton Metal Yamaha. See Wiley is getting caught behind the rider with the yellow arms, just coming towards us now. Vialle just using up goggles and just losing time on the track to his main rival. Right, let's take a look at what happened to Vialle a while ago. Bottom of the hill, front end was going, the back end kicked, came around and right, then left, manages to keep the engine running. Yeah, Talviku also buried the front there in that little exchange. Talviku now in 21st place. Vialle only lost 3 places though. Nothing in it between the first 3. Conrad Muse showing down in 17th place. Kai de Wolf 16th, chasing Fredriksson and Liam Everts on the Diga Procross KTM. Not a bad start for Everts, who probably, if we have another look at the start then, at some point during the race, be interested to see what happened going into the first turn and how Everts dealt with that far outside gate to emerge in 13th position. But it's Langenfelder who continues to lead. Whilst they're using these lines here, they're starting to dry out. The lines that aren't being favoured at the moment, so some of the outsides, they will just get wetter and wetter, and riders will tend to stay away from them. I think Talviku fell over on the far side because he's now showing in 27th. Vialle around the outside of Elzinga finds his way finally into 5th place. Another point pulled back in the championship chase for the Red Bull KTM. Crucially for him, he will have visibility as well, because one pull of the roll-off gives him clear visibility, but when he's sat behind the rider ahead of him, it's just constant roost, constant spray. Nice inside line that for Jago Geerts. Through that first turn, getting himself back into contention. It's less than a second again between the Gas and the Yamaha rider. Riders not jumping so long through that left-hander like they were this morning in the warm-up session. Some horrible holes through there as well, but tricky little inside rut through that right turn. Got to be careful not to go too deep in that turn there though, Jago. Meanwhile, as Vialle moves into 5th ahead of Elzinga, Guadagnini is up to 7th, Adamo up to 8th, so Jeremy Sido losing a couple of positions that time around, falling to 9th. Håkan Fredriksson on the move as well. He's up into 12th place. He's found his way past Jan Panzer. Everts has lost a position. He's back down to 14th. There's De Wolf making ground, charging back into the top 15. Gifting going with him in 17th place. Oh, a little bit out of shape there for Langenfelder, though. What can we see from Vialle now that he has clear track? Will we see his lap times start to come down as he closes in on Thibaut Beniston? What are the splits saying? 33-0. So losing 0.6 to Beniston at the first sector. Meanwhile, the first three separated by 1.3 seconds now. And Horgmo flexing his muscles as he goes fastest of the race in sector 2. Closing in on Geerts and Langenfelder. No need to rush when conditions are like this. And Horgmo has lost ground in the last few corners to these two. Geerts again, a nice tight line coming out of that final turn. Trying to get alongside Langenfelder down this next straight, see if he can execute the cutback. Doesn't work that time though. Five laps in the books when they hit the finish line this time around. Nothing in it again between the top two. Half a second. Geerts sets his fastest lap of the race so far. Looking for options. And again, he's going to be alongside Langenfelder, but he'll get denied through this next left. He'll just get a little bit more hang time. Try to go to the outside at the top of the hill. Again, momentum, but just as effective through the inside for Langenfelder. Horgmo just losing ground now. Problems for Guy de Wolf, because Kevin Brumman, Isaac Gifting have both gone by. De Wolf now back in 17th place. What can Geerts do from here? 7/10 down at the moment as they hit the second split on the racetrack, trying everything he can to find a way past. Simultaneous back end stepping out of line there, but Geerts does go through, but for how much longer? Oh, he closes down the door beautifully. He could have stayed to the outside and jumped high, but he knew that Langenfelder was going to blast round the outside. And Horgmo back in contention all of a sudden. A crazy lap this on lap 6, and we're going to see a change for second as well. And it's Horgmo going past Langenfelder. Right, as Geerts takes over the lead and Horgmo second, let's go down to F&H Kawasaki.
Mark Deruva, we just saw Kevin Horgmo pass for second at the moment. He's looking strong. How's he feeling? And tell us, how is he going to manage these conditions today?
Well, I'm a little bit started out, in November. Last year he was still riding MX. Yeah. And now he's riding for first position. And I told him, you're from Norway, you are good in these conditions, go for it.
Okay, well, best of luck to him and the team. Thank you.
Gallinero offering his words. Mark Deruva. A change for the lead then. Jago Geerts and Kevin Horgmo have found their way by Langenfelder, who's now 2.6 adrift of the Yamaha man. Two-horse race at the head of the field. Beniston is fourth. Vialle 1.7 seconds behind the Frenchman at the moment. Championship lead down to 5 points at the moment. Right, let's take a look at some of the passes, shall we, so far in the race. This was Jago Geerts on Langenfelder for the lead. He got alongside him through the waves. Now, if he'd have stayed right on the next jump, but he didn't. He cut across the left, squeezed Langenfelder to the left. And then a couple of corners later, Horgmo around the outside took a chance with that berm. And that was the Norwegian into second. And he's now going after the leader. Hasn't won a race in MX2 yet, Kevin Horgmo. Highest position, couple of fifth places. Race 1, Argentina. Race 2, Trentino. Last time out, he has a potential 25 points staring at him. All of a sudden, Vialle, the two French riders then, closing in on Thibaut Beniston. So the Monster is Yamaha versus the Red Bull KTM. These two in 4th and 5th place. So the former 125 and 250 European champion Thibaut Benestant, who we didn't see in action until round 4 in Portugal because of that knee surgery in the off-season last year. Picking himself up, though, and doing a good job so far, just getting himself ridden back into fitness. But it's not going to be easy to keep Vialle at bay. Meanwhile, Rick Elzinga dealing with the 101 of Guadagnini. These two fighting over 6th place. The tall Dutch rider going toe-to-toe with the tall Italian. Benestant and Vialle, 7 laps complete. Vialle, a couple of tenths quicker than his compatriot. He'll be kicking himself, though, won't he? Fell from 3rd on the opening lap, lost 3 positions, having to do all that work again. Elzinga fending off the challenge from Guadagnini. Almost left the door open, though. Elzinga still in 6th place. But for how much longer? Looking further down the field, Isaac Gifting is now up to 13th. He's found away by Jan Panzer. De Wolf up to 15. Brumman down to 16. Rubini, Muse, Bonacorsi and Carsmakers round out your top 20. Guadagnini charging hard as he goes after the Dutchman, Rick Elzinga. Wild carding again this weekend, as he did in Trentino, where he came away with 7th overall. Sits 20th in the championship at the moment, having just done that one round with 11th and the 7th. Here he is sitting 6th in this first race so far, but again, Guadagnini closing in on him. Oh, Guadagnini gets it wrong, back end, just climbed the bank, and he almost face planted the hay bale. That is costly, out of 7th place. Just trying a little bit too hard to find a way past the 44 of Elzinga. Breathing space then for the number 44, finally, with 12 minutes plus 2 to go. Guadagnini picks himself back up in 9th place, so cost himself a couple of positions there. And with the pressure off, all of a sudden Elzinga looking a little bit more relaxed immediately. Best seat in the house at the moment, Kevin Horgmo, top of the hill. Less than a second between him and Geerts. Geerts the one with the pressure, because he knows he needs these points to close in on the series leader, Tom Vialle. Horgmo, easier to follow than it is to lead. He'll be looking to eye up a pass. But when he finds himself leading, potentially, that's when it'll start to get interesting as well, because winning an EMX race and winning an MX2 race, completely different things. Maybe the heart beats a little bit differently, you know. Nerves come a little bit bigger, more intense. And if he does find his way past, he'll move himself up into 5th place in the championship at the expense of Mikkel Harup, who's dropped for 3rd to 4th at the moment. Harup out of the race on the opening lap. Possible start crash going into the first turn with maybe Bo Dam and maybe Peter Pollock and a few others. Here it's looking a little bit more relaxed. Dealing with that threat from Kevin Horgmo. Edberg and Everts have found their way past Guadagnini, so Guadagnini's fallen again to 12th. And that would have been somewhere in the first sector, so from the finish line to the end of the back straight somewhere. Anyway, working their way towards the end of lap 9. Geerts and Horgmo. Horgmo showing his hard work with the F&H Kawasaki squad paying off during the winter. Wet, heavy, sandy conditions, the norm. One or two untidy corners there, though, for Horgmo. Here's Vialle. In 5th place. Still trying to do something about the 198 of Thibaut Benestan. But again, he's lost 3.4 seconds to the Frenchman. So where's he made a mistake? Because he was. There's Benestan ahead of him. Knows he's got to dig deep. Of course, the championship isn't won or lost on this round. What's important is you have the red plate at the final round, because then you can turn it to gold. Oh, Jeremy Sido out of 8th place. Doing so well on the Nissan Husqvarna machine. Manages to just about get it fired up. Oh, the step up, and then the single. Not the first to go down there over the years, won't be the last either. And Conrad Mew's out as well. So Tom Vialle just needed to regroup. Tell you who is regrouping, Kevin Horgmo. Looks like he's just closing back in again after 1 or 2 scrappy corners a lap or so ago. Work in the final sector. That's the message to the Yamaha man. Staying a little bit lower that time, Horgmo. See how the back end working. What you can't see is how deep those holes are through that sweeping left onto the face of that knuckle on the inside. Less than a second in it as they hit the line, 0.982. Langenfelder 4.3 seconds behind Horgmo in 3rd position. Håkan Fredriksson, Tim Edberg, Isaac Gifting have all moved up a position at the expense of Jeremy Sido. So Fredriksson 8 for Honda 114 Motorsports. Good for the Norwegian. Edberg again after the Riley Racing Yamaha rider fell in turn 2 in the qualifying race yesterday. Good start, and there he is circulating in 9th place ahead of Gifting. And Gifting's working hard as well, because he was 18th and outside of the points actually at one point. So he's in the top 10 and can still pick off a couple of positions. Here's Håkan Fredriksson. So the Honda 114 rider has about 8 seconds to make up to Andrea Adamo. And then we've got Edberg, the 26 on the Riley Racing Yamaha, and Isaac Gifting. So these two, the 2 Swedes, Gifting was pretty rapid in the qualifying race. Found his way into 2nd with a couple of laps to go with that pass on Vialle. What can he do to Edberg? With 6.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Different conditions as well, don't forget. Raining, the sand wetter, the ground softer. Treacherous in places because of the hard, slick surface underneath. And you've got those gnarly braking bumps. A mistake from the Yamaha! Oh! And down hard goes Gifting. Edberg was fortunate there. Gifting not so. Headbutts the bank. Watch this here. Edberg just made his own mistake, left the door open. Gifting came through and then just caught the rear. Watch him just hit the bank here. Ugh. Handlebar and the ribs. I'm not sure which collarbone he broke, but that would not have done it any good at all. Picks himself up though as if nothing's happened. Lost the position to Liam Everts. Liam Everts in 10th place. So Adamo in 6th place here has found his way past Rick Elzinga. The SM Action Yuasa Battery Gas rider, number 80 in red, carves his way into the top 6. A much needed result for the Italian. Rick Elzinga now down in 7th place. So as Adamo heads uphill and looks to go after Vialle, although he's got 20 seconds to make up in the next 4 or 5 minutes. Here's Liam Everts. So the Diga Procross KTM rider all over the back of Edberg. He wasn't that close a lap ago. So the 26 under pressure from Liam Everts. Everts, of course, broke a finger, didn't he, in the qualifying race. First turn crash at Matchley Basin. Returned to racing in Trentino a round ago. Picked up a 14th and a 13th. They were his best finishes in MX2 at that point, because obviously that was his first, well, not his first round of the World Championship, but he did wildcard last year, didn't he? But he's closing right in. Got a 16th and an 11th when he rode last year, Sardinia, I think it was. But closing in on Edberg. This is going to be for 9th place. And he's alongside. Look at the drive through the waves. And he goes past Edberg. Everts up to 9th. And he's got his head down. Who's ahead of him? Fredriksson about 7 seconds further up the track. Lap times last time around, 2:14 to a 2:13. As Jeremy Sido comes in. Probably been down again. Not the debut he wanted in the end then. But good hard riding this from Liam Everts, number 72. Loses the front, manages to keep it upright, throws the goggles away because obviously having visibility problems then. 3 minutes to go. At least he's got clear vision and no one really too close to him, so it's not going to mess his eyes up too much between now and the checkered flag. The team was ready, as you can see, but chose not to use the goggle lane and give up another. Oh, he would have lost a few positions, wouldn't he? He'd probably been back down to about 12th, maybe, had he have used the goggle lane. Because you've got Everts, Edberg, Gifting, right there again, closing in on the number 26. And then Panzer, and maybe even De Wolf, because there was only about a 10th in it as they hit the line a moment ago. A surprising race, this, for Kai De Wolf. Here's Vialle. Has he bridged the gap? No, 11 seconds, so not sure what the problems are for Tom Vialle. In this first race, maybe just lost the toe and then just not feeling it. Maybe some bike settings happened after free practice and the start of the race. And so the conditions may be catching him out in that 1 hour or so break between the last time on the bike and the gate drop. A little bit nervous through there. That's where he fell on the opening lap. Just doesn't look comfortable, Vialle. He'll just try and salvage this 16 points to 5th place. 16 is better than no points, of course. But as things stay like this, with Geerts leading the way, Horgmo, Langenfelder, Beneston and Vialle in 5th. Vialle will move to 2:24. Geerts will be on 2:19. The gap was 14 points coming into this first race. Everts, goggleless. Edberg behind him, also goggleless. And Gifting closing back in on his fellow countryman. Does he have goggles on? Let's have a look. Yes, he does, and he tries to carve a new line down the inside. Are they going to be side by side in this next turn? Gifting and Edberg, not quite. But Gifting does have the advantage of having a lens to protect his eyes. Should be able to find a way through with 3 laps to go. So Everts in 9th, Tim Edberg 10, Riley Racing Yamaha, Isaac Gifting, Hitachi KTM, fueled by Milwaukee. 9, 10 and 11. De Wolf up to 12th now. He's about 3 seconds behind these guys, and he's lapping quicker as well. Puts his best lap of the race in a 2:12.5. He's going to be all over these three riders probably before the end of the lap. And Edberg is definitely picking up his pace, or Everts is just starting to blow out the cheeks a little bit here. And caught a lip there on takeoff as he looked back. So we've got all kinds of things happening here as Everts a little bit loose through the waves. Gifting finds his way alongside Edberg. Has the commanding line through there as well. Picks off Edberg for 10th. And meanwhile, Beniston all over the back of Langenfelder as they fight over 3rd place in the latter stages of this race. And there's the Wolf coming. So Edberg looking a little bit out of sorts. Just takes a quick look over his shoulder and thinks, you as well. Good lap this from Kai de Wolf. Using different lines, anything to stay out of the roost. Here's that battle for 3rd place. Langenfelder and Beniston. Can Thibaut Beniston, the 198, get himself into a top 3 place? Got a 3rd in race 2 at Trentino at the previous round. Looking to do the same again here in race 1. And he carves down the inside of Langenfelder, who closes the door on the Frenchman. Beniston reacts, goes to the outside. Will he get better drive through the waves? Yes, he does, but again denied midway through the waves. Neatly done. Beniston up the inside of the German. Wasn't aggressive enough, but he may still get the opportunity here, and he does. Beniston now 3rd. Five seconds further up the track is Kevin Horgmo. Don't think Horgmo's 2nd position is going to be under threat. And for Horgmo, it's going to be a best ever finish in MX2. Previously, it was 2 5th place finishes. But to get a top 3 finish, Horgmo will be absolutely delighted. I'm sure the team will be as well. And not just a top 3, it'll be 2nd. The 1 lap board goes out to Geerts, who is now 3.9 seconds clear of the F&H Kawasaki. Four race wins so far in the season for Jago Geerts, trying to make it 5. He soaked up the pressure from behind, kept his head, kept his cool. Coming up to lap Kai Karsmakers, number 33. Karsmakers 23rd at the moment. But just a few corners to go. Jago Geerts, Monster Energy Yamaha. Still got to be careful. We see how that line disappeared midway through the corner. Horgmo, 5 seconds clear of Beniston. Langenfelder just losing ground. Vialle's going to have to be content with 5th, and Adamo 6th. Liam Everts still hanging on to 9th, ahead of Gifting and Edberg, though. Top 10 finish for the Belgian. Down past pit lane for the final time. Jago Geerts, applauded by his team, giving him the signal that he's 4.5 seconds clear, just with a couple of corners to go. He won't take his eye off the ball, though. You can't with these conditions being as treacherous as they are. But Jago Geerts crosses the line to take his 5th race win of the season, and with it, his 25th career race victory. Tom Vialle, a lonely ride for the Red Bull KTM rider. Got off to a perfect start, was there in 3rd, threw it away on the first lap, dropped down to 6th. Never really recovered after that. Maybe just mud on the grips. Obviously, he did hold the bike, though, so when it went down, so I can't imagine it was that, but maybe just set-up issues and just not finding the real rhythm. He'll make some changes, possibly, ahead of race 2, but 5th for the championship leader. Get a few more riders over the line then. So we've got Geerts, Horgmo, Beniston, your top 3. Langenfelder 4, Vialle 5th. Andrea Adamo, we just saw him pass over the line a moment ago in 6th, ahead of Rick Elsinger and Håkan Fredriksson. Anyway, here's Jago Geerts.
Jago Geerts, congratulations. You kept a cool head at the head of the field under very difficult conditions to get your 5th race win of the season and some valuable points.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the first heat. Got a good start. I was in 2nd behind Simon, and then just took some, didn't push too hard in the beginning because the track was really slippery, and I found a good way to pass Simon after a couple laps, and then just rode my own race. The track was really difficult, so I'm happy I kept it on 2 wheels and won the heat, so yeah, really happy.
Good luck for the 2nd race.
When a Belgian who lives in the sand says it was tricky conditions because it was slippery, then you know we've had some rain and track conditions have changed somewhat overnight. But Thibaut Beniston, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2, wins comfortably, 5 seconds over Kevin Horgmo. Crucially though, he bridges the gap to Tom Vialle. The difference now just 5 points between 1st and 2nd in the championship, as Geerts takes his 5th race win of the season. Give you the official confirmation then. MX2 race 1 here at Latvia, round 6. Jago Geerts wins it from Kevin Horgmo, Thibaut Beniston and Simon Langenfelder. Championship leader Tom Vialle crosses the line in 5th. Andrea Adamo, Rick Elsinger, Håkan Fredriksson ran out the top 8, with Liam Everts a best finish in MX2 in 9th and Isaac Gifting in 10th. Tim Edberg crosses the line in 11th, ahead of Kai de Wolf, Jan Panzer, Mattia Guadagnini up and down the leaderboard. Kevin Brumman 15, Stefan Rubini 16. He found his way past Bonacorsi, or was it Brumman found his way past Rubini on the final lap. Andrea Bonacorsi 17, Tom Guyen 18, Glenn Mayer 19 and Max Spies. As the MX2 riders make their way back to get cleaned up and the MXGP riders take their positions in the waiting zone, and the fans just digest what's just happened, maybe we'll do the same. Here's the highlights, the quick highlights of MX2 Race 1. Keep your eye on Mikkel Hara, centre of the gate, because he was okay. It was Petter Pollock that went down, but Simon Langenfelder with the Fox Holeshot for the 4th time this year. Behind him, Jago Geerts, Tom Vialle, Kevin Horgmo, Thibaut Beniston, Rick Elsinger and Tom Guyen with Gifting just behind them. Wet conditions caught out Tom Vialle at the bottom of the hill on the first lap. He went from 3rd down to 6th. Jürgen Matthias Talviku, and there was Kai de Wolf going down as well, also on the first lap. Harp then obviously fell and did not rejoin the race, as Rick Elsinger came under attack from Tom Vialle. Vialle eventually went through to take over 5th, and that's where he would stay, despite closing in on Thibaut Beniston. We had a change for the lead here, as Jago Geerts put the squeeze on Simon Langenfelder. And a couple of corners later, Kevin Horgmo also around the outside of the German as he moved into 2nd. Rick Elsinger under attack from Mattia Guadagnini, who fell from 7th. He picked himself up in 9th. He would fall again to 12th a little later on in the race and eventually come home in 14th. Despite Kevin Horgmo closing in on Jago Geerts. He wasn't able to do anything about it as Jeremy Sido fell late on in the race from 8th to 12th and then eventually out of the points altogether. Isaac Gifting collided with fellow Swede Tim Edberg. He picked himself up and would eventually finish in 10th place behind Liam Everts, as Thibaut Beneston eventually got the better of Simon Langenfelder to move into 3rd. Jago Geerts, though, victorious in race 1 by 5 seconds over Horgmo and Beneston, with Langenfelder and Vialle rounding out the top 5. And it's that time of day again, folks. Fox Holeshot time. Simon Langenfelder crosses the Fox Holeshot line for the 4th time this year. Tom Vialle has 5 black plates, Langenfelder 4, Kevin Horgmo and Mikkel Harp have 1 apiece. Right, before we go anywhere else, let's take a look at some of the best moments then from that first MX2 race, shall we? We're going to take a quick break. Join us in about 2.5 minutes' time when we return for MXGP Race 1. We'll see you then.